Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in the Shattered Bloodline update to Dead by Daylight, going for the Adept Spirit achievement. This is to get a merciless killer rating as the Spirit. This one's going to be done from the killer side. You're going to need to play as the Spirit for this, so make sure you grab her from the DLC pack or from the in-game store. You also need to make sure you get her to a minimum of level 10 in order to open up 3 free perk slots. These are going to be the perks that you want to run and only run. You want Spirit Fury, and then you're going to want Haunted Ground, which is going to be a Hex perk, and then finally you're going to want to run Rancor. You can do whatever you want for add-ons or offerings. Once you are ready, make sure you get into the game. The Spirit is going to be another one of those hard to learn, but once you do learn, she's actually going to be really good kind of killers. The killer herself, as well as this build overall, is going to be built primarily as an anti-loop kind of build. So what you want to do as soon as you get into the game and you find your first survivor engagement, what you want to do is you want to make sure you bait them into dropping the pallets. Every time someone drops a pallet, what you want to do is you want to make sure you prioritize breaking it right away. The reason for that is you definitely want to build up your Spirit Fury perk as soon as possible. What this is going to do basically is once you have broken enough pallets, every time a survivor drops a pallet on you, the pallet is going to break right away. You still get the pallet stun, however, since the pallet breaks already, you don't have to come back to break it later, which is going to drastically reduce the amount of vaulting spots the survivors are going to have later on in the game. So very useful to build up Spirit Fury as soon as possible. That way you can get rid of any pallets on the map, and this will give you a huge advantage later on. Also, what you want to do early on in the game is be on the listen for if someone manages to break your Hex Totem. That should cause Haunted Ground to kick in, and what that's going to do is it's going to immediately put Exposed on every single survivor for a brief amount of time. So, with everyone under Exposed, you should be able to down every single person in a single hit, regardless of their health status. So just make sure you try to find someone, make sure you hit them and then pop them on a hook. Everyone should start to come in for the rescue, ideally, and then as they're coming in, you can just punish everyone by one-shotting them, and you should be able to rack up a bunch of easy hooks this way super early on in the game. So the sooner someone can find your Hex perk, the better. That way you can punish super duper early and then get everyone while they're still healthy. Besides that, obviously, the main part of the game is going to be your main ability, which is going to be the Spirit's Phase Walk. Basically, you hold left trigger in order to turn invisible. While invisible, you're going to move super fast. However, you cannot see any of the survivors, and they can't see you. You can still see their scratch marks, though, and you can also see their interactions with the environment, say if they drop a pallet or something. So you are going to have to kind of predict where they are going to end up when you are invisible. So it's not going to be super useful as an attack, although it is very useful as a pressure tool. So you can use it to pressure someone to a spot in the loop you want to get them to come out of invisibility and punish accordingly. The starting point of the phase walk is also going to leave your physical body behind, and you can use that to block off a part of the loop, which is also going to help pressure. Again, it does take a little while to get used to it and use it effectively. However, it is a very good tool once you do manage to master it. If you can't get the hang of it, again, nothing beats good Dead by Daylight fundamentals, and the Spirit is going to be a decent killer otherwise. So take advantage of her strong early game and then fall back on your fundamentals if you don't want to utilize the phase walk for the rest of the game, and you should be able to manage the merciless killer rating a-okay. So hopefully all of those are good enough to do well in all 4 of the major killer categories. As for her last perk, which is going to be Rancor, it's just going to allow you to kill the obsession at the end of the game. However, you are going to need to wait until all of the generators are fixed, which may or may not come, especially if you are working on the merciless killer rating. But if you really want the execution, you can go for it if the situation does present itself. So just make sure you keep up at it, and then once you manage to end the game with the merciless killer rating, doing well in all 4 categories, you should be good for the achievement. Of course, you can hit right bumper on the results screen to see which categories you need to improve on, and then with that in mind, once you do manage the +2, you should be good for the achievement. 20 gamer score for this one, and that's all there is to it.